I'm Don Schrager. I'm the Stormwater Operations Manager.
I'm Stacy Davis. I work in admin for the Stormwater Department. We get these questions from our residents daily asking about our canals. So I wanted to pick your brain about some of our canal questions that we get asked most frequently.
Sure.
All right, so the first one is, why does my canal seem lower during the rainy season?
That's actually a really good observation by a lot of our residents. We do get that question, I know. The reality is when Stormwater Department monitors the weather, and when we know there's a significant rain event, say 72 hours out, we actually have an emergency plan that looks in advance, and when we know roughly how much rain's coming, we start lowering our canals. And the idea is to drain water out of the canals to make room for the new rain that's coming in. We do this on a structure just like the one we're standing on now. Most of our canals have one of these structures and we can control them. And by lowering the canals, we also drain water out of the ditches, and which makes room for water from the swales. So when it rains, the water off the roads and off people's property has someplace to go quicker, and it can recover quicker instead of overflowing into the street. And ditches don't overflow into people's yards. So the idea is just to make room.
So then how do we determine how much we should lower the canals and when to lower them?
Actually, we developed a process a couple years ago. Part of our enhanced stormwater system was to model the whole system. We use computer software, same software that other agencies and consultants use to establish base flood elevation for FEMA. We use the exact same software. We plugged in all the information, and we can actually run scenarios for a given rain event and see how much water will come in and how long it will take to get out. So based on that, we've actually been able to determine where and when we need to open up some of these gates and drain some water out in what sequence to get the maximum benefit from it.
Well, then if that's the case, why don't we just lower the canals all the way?
It's a good question because it would seem to make sense, right? We're in hurricane season, why don't we just drain the canals? The truth is, or the reality is, that when ITT designed the city, the idea was to maintain water in the city. So we have structures like this one, set at a very specific elevation, and the idea is to keep a normal water level throughout the city. And they do that to allow the water to stay here. It gets to percolate into the ground, get some treatment, and recharge our shallow aquifer, which is where Flagler County gets the majority of its drinking water. And by keeping the aquifer recharged, we also inhibit saltwater intrusion into our water system. When we do drain the system out, we're very careful about how much we drain out. We don't want to drain out too much, just for that reason. And we also have some local businesses that rely on our canal water for irrigation, so we don't want to inhibit their ability to work.
Right. So then if we lower the canals, why can't we just fill them back up if we lower them too much?
I get that a lot. People do ask that question, and it makes sense, especially like when we're in a drought and the water levels are low. Can't you just fill them back up? The reality is we have no way to add water to the system. That's strictly up to Mother Nature. It gets filled up with rainwater. We do have some that are spring-fed that do get filled up, but yeah, the city itself cannot actually add water to the system. Any more questions, Stace?
No, I think that covers it pretty well. Thanks for your help.
Did I say anything that's going to make anybody cringe?
Not this time, but let's give it 10 more minutes and we'll probably get there.
Let's go before I say something stupid.